We're like friends. I mean, we're sisters.
Sisters by blood, friends by choice.
Incredibly smart, intelligent, and funny.
Oh.
Correct.
Stories for days.
Mom, you're crashing out. I feel like, should we?
Do we want to talk about it right now?
We can talk about
Let's just let it flow.
Let it go. What the fuck? Good jeans.
Yeah.
Messy jeans. Welcome to Messy Jeans. Welcome back to Messy Jeans. Today we're really excited. We have a very special guest, the one and only Cadence
Marie Bingham.
She is my daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Can you even believe this? That I birthed this beautiful angel child.
Yeah,
Who
I think
is-
they can. Look at you.
Who is now an adult.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And we just thought we'd bring her on. Cadence is super funny and we can let her introduce herself. Stop. She's
I
like,
feel
"Keep
like you guys have
going."
talked about me on it like
We
a few
have.
times, so I feel kind of like I don't want to let them down.
Oh, I thought you were
like,
saying
set
like in general.
expectations. Well, yeah, you guys do talk about me.
One of the things I really wanted her to talk about was her story leaving the church, because her parents, my ex and I, her dad and I, left the church. She's like, my ex. She's like, I hate her now.
Okay,
Divorce is still a little fresh. It's okay.
A little.
Oh, I know.
No, I'm kidding.
You can talk about that too.
Extremely.
Extremely.
It's a little fresh.
It's a little fresh. It's very fresh. Okay. I know. And that's valid. Any of your feelings are valid.
Guys, look at her. She's validating my feelings. Like, period.
As if I'm your mother. Okay. Just
my mama.
can you just pretend that I'm a really good mom on this podcast?
That's what I'm here for.
Just hype me up this whole time.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. And if you don't, I'm going to disown you. But also, this is a safe space.
Okay.
You can talk about whatever you want.
Right.
Let's talk about what's cunty this week. I've talked about my new job, but I haven't really said what I do. Basically, I help manage social media for a Bernedoodle breeding company. How random is that?
Say that 10 times fast.
Bernedoodle breeders, Bernedoodle.
I can't.
I can't.
Do that. No. What even are those?
They are,
Bern-
well, I can tell you all
Doodle.
about it because I have learned a lot about Bernedoodles.
Your mind is just a
It
Bernedoodle.
is. It's just one giant Bernedoodle.
Not just your hair.
It is. No, they talk about wavy curly coats, and they talk about how much easier it is to groom their coats, and because the hair doesn't get matted because when it gets too long and it's I'm like, that's my hair. I was like, I know exactly what they're talking about. It's a
And
mix
it's not easy to take care of.
It's not easy to take care of. But with their coats, it is easier because of the breeding and their traits. And it's a cross between Bernese Mountain Dog and a Poodle. So
Cute.
basically breeding traits, because Bernese Mountain Dogs are really lovable, they're kind and they're gentle. And then
Yeah.
the Poodle, their hair that doesn't shed. So it's basically like having the best of both worlds. Anyway, so I help run their social media, and it's been quite the jump from, making my own content and then having to make content for someone else, and it's been a learning process. But I've been very cunty in the way that I have, I'm learning and I'm doing, and I'm making posts that are doing pretty well. And every time something goes well and I something takes off and gets traction, I'm like, yes. So when I started on, and the other team, they've been doing great, and they've obviously built like a great platform, a large following. And I think when I joined, they had I think I've been doing this for a month now. I don't even know. They had 4.6 million profile views, and now we're at 5.2 million. So
Period. That
I'm
was all you.
excited. No, it's not on me, but let's just pretend like it
Good
was.
for you.
Anyway, so
Aw.
just cunty. I'm cunty in that way. But
Amazing.
what about you, Cadence?
I've been going to the gym every day
Good
for
for
the past
you.
month, and I'm so proud of myself because
Good for you.
it's been I want to go.
Yeah.
I want to go.
You've made it a habit.
Yeah.
That's great.
Not quite yet, but I still have to force myself to go. But yeah, it's been good. I love it. I don't know. I couldn't think of anything else. I'm just proud of myself.
No, you should be.
No,
That's
that's
great.
amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah, Cindy, what about you?
I think it's really cunty that I need sleep to function
Mm-hmm.
casually.
Yeah, I think that's a thing.
And when I don't get good sleep for 2 nights in a row, I'm wrecked. My stomach is just, it's
Your stomach?
as if it's my first time existing on the planet. Yeah, my anxiety gets way worse, way worse. And I just feel like I can't
And
function.
that makes you even more tired.
I know exactly.
anxious.
So like I'm exhausted but amped up at the same time, which is an awful feeling. I hate that the older I get, the more important sleep is, and
That's really dumb.
I don't like it. I'm insufferably obsessed with Severance right now because I just finished the whole show.
I love that
Okay?
show.
But there's a scene like in the very beginning where one of the characters is like, so
Sleep deprived.
wait, wasn't I just here? You know?
Oh.
And so Mark, the main character, is like, yep, you were actually. We had a whole weekend. She's like, a whole weekend? And then he references something like, yeah, I like to focus on the effects of sleep rather than that you actually slept. Because when they go into the office, it's just like, it's never
They
ending.
never
You
slept.
don't sleep there. You don't, just nothing. And so, yeah, you feel rejuvenated, you know, when the switch happens in your brain. I'm like, that would be amazing if that
Right?
could be a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
But,
I
like,
still haven't
also-
finished that season. But I've
Finish
heard
it.
it's amazing. So
It's a mind fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
that's what I hear. So let's introduce Cadence.
Hi guys, my name's Cadence. Her infamous daughter,
Mm-hmm.
oldest daughter, 19 years old. Like oldest daughter, final boss. Oldest granddaughter, final boss. Like
Yeah.
I watch children for a living, basically.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a nanny.
She's really good at it.
Yeah, I've been babysitting since I was like 12 years old. My mom got me CPR certified at like 11, was it?
You were
And
11.
I was just like the hottest babysitter on the block, like the Mormon girl, CPR certified,
Mhm.
oldest daughter. Like I was the hot, like I was getting good money at like 12 years old.
You were.
And it's just been like that ever since I was like a lifeguard for a minute. I've just always had a job, always had a job,
Mm-hmm.
always
Yeah.
been working. I have 2 jobs
very
right now.
hardworking.
I was a nanny for one of their brothers, so like my uncle, for like a year-ish.
Mm-hmm.
And then I switched over to a completely different type of nannying job.
Yeah. I wish we could talk
I
more
love
about
it.
that. You have some
I
crazy
can't talk
stories
about
that
it
job.
other than it's fun and it's interesting
It's
and very
interesting.
drama.
You work at a spa?
I do work at a spa. I'm like the front
Oh, you
desk.
do?
Yeah,
Mhm.
like a massage and facial spa.
Mm-hmm.
I got a massage today.
You're
Oh,
a
my
full-time
goodness.
nanny and you work there?
No, not full time. No.
Oh, okay.
No,
Yeah. Part-time.
it's very different. I work overnight.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess that's
but
it.
yes,
and I'm
Cadence.
moving
Cadence-
out soon.
I know
Moving
you are moving
out
out.
in
You found your
about-
own place.
Less than a month.
You're going to be paying your own rent
Yep.
because you're awesome
Yeah.
and capable.
Becoming an adult at like the worst time
Badass
in history.
bitch. I know. I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. About
Doing
that.
adult stuff at the worst time.
I'm sorry.
It is the worst time
Could
to
be
be
going
an
to
adult.
war
Yeah.
at this time. Whatever.
Cadence is very funny. She's very sarcastic, and
Mhm.
she has really funny stories about just giving men shit.
Men.
and in general. So
My favorite thing.
a quintessential Gen Z, but like you're like a cool Gen Z.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, there's like, I don't know. I guess there's cringy millennials, but are there cringy
there
Gen
are
Zs?
cringy Gen Z. Yeah.
Yeah, but
The
you're
ones that just
But like, what is a cringy Gen Z?
I don't know. They just
what's-
use the
'Cause I hate
weirdest
the
words.
word cringe to begin
I
with.
do too, but at the same time, like sometimes it needs to be used.
cool. hmm
And some people just don't know how to talk without using like TikTok lingo. They
Mhm.
just say like, you know, have you ever heard the words cooked?
Yeah.
Yes.
And you know what's so interesting? I've been watching The Real Housewives of Atlanta, and I mean, I knew this before, but it's just reemphasized. Literally everything is stolen from Black culture.
Yeah.
Yes.
Everything.
Yes.
Mhm.
Cooked.
Yes.
Yeah. it, like,
Everything.
Everything. Is,
Literally everything.
Yeah.
We say and do like type shit. Like that's
yeah.
And they've
is that
been
not
and they've been saying it forever.
forever.
Yeah.
Forever.
hmm
Yeah. It's crazy.
it comes down to like the nails, everything.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Everything, nails, hair,
Yep.
lashes, it's all because music. Everything is
Everything.
just
Everything.
they were doing it way before we ever were.
because we don't have our own culture. We just
I need to
Yeah,
watch
just
that
steal it
show.
from
Is
others.
it good?
So good.
little backstory. My ex and I left the church in 2019, and you were how old?
14.
Were you 14? I thought you were. I'm like
Sometimes I like don't know.
2019. Wait.
It's all a blur, to be honest. I think I was 14.
You were between
14.
12 and 14. Yeah. Yeah, you were.
2019, I was
Yeah, that's
14.
right. You're right. I'm sorry. I can't do math again, I guess, even though that's part of my job.
You didn't
One of my
graduate
jobs.
college.
I
It's fine.
didn't. I didn't.
No.
It's showing now. I didn't graduate college.
You didn't
guys.
need to.
I didn't need to. I didn't. I didn't actually need
No,
to. So it's
didn't.
fine. Yeah,
Period.
14. I know that was hard for me as an adult, but it was obviously hard for you in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And I wanted to just ask you some questions about that. And then we wrote up this outline, and it's funny. ChatGPT helps us write some of these outlines. It was like, what's the vibe check on
Checks.
Cadence?
I don't know. Check my vibes.
I feel like Carly and I should say what your vibe is in 3 words. Okay? 3
Okay.
words to describe
Ooh.
Cadence. Okay?
Okay.
I'll go first.
Okay.
So 1 is
I'm ready.
you
Cadence
just
is
made
like-
the funniest face.
She's like, bring it.
I'm
Bring
listening.
You're like, I'm loving the attention.
Bring it.
Guys.
Cadence is effortlessly cool. It's 2 words, but we're just gonna.
Oh, thank
Okay.
you.
2, very empathetic, and 3, extremely fun. I can't just stick to
No,
one
that's
word. That's so
nice.
me.
Thank you
Phrases.
so much. That counts as like one word. I think extremely fun. Like you can't just be like fun.
Oh, there's so many words to describe Cadence. Cadence is sassy AF, and in the best way.
Mhm.
She is funny as fuck.
Thank
It's gonna be as fuck for each one of these.
Thank you.
Sassy as fuck, funny as fuck, snarky as fuck, cool as fuck, beautiful as fuck. There are so
Period.
many things.
Thank you guys. Can we do this the whole episode?
It is true though. Candace and I were joking around one time, and she's like, I cannot hang with people who don't get sarcasm.
No. And that's something I've said for a long time. Passive aggressiveness, biggest pet peeve
Just-
of all time.
Mhm.
I need sarcasm, and I need it to be taken as a complete joke because people say there's truth to every sarcastic joke. No. I am here to say there's not. I could be like, you're ugly. You're an ugly bitch. And I want someone to be like, you're even, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, just like escalate
Match it.
Match the energy.
And no, there's not always truth to it. I like love making
Mm-hmm.
evil, sarcastic jokes. I think it's so much fun. And I know I'm going to be friends with someone if they can match that, you know?
Match
and-
the energy.
That's honestly something I look for a lot when I make a joke like that. I'm like
Mhm.
looking around.
Just never put on, if you ever at any point have a dating profile, put
Never.
sarcasm is my first language.
Fluent in sarcasm.
Do people actually do that?
Fluent in
Oh, yeah.
sarcasm.
A lot of people do.
I will use cringy for that because that's so cringy. Yes.
People put that as their
Men put that.
and then you like make a sarcastic joke about them and they can't handle it.
No, I immediately swipe
Yeah.
away. No.
You're like, no,
Fluent in sarcasm.
okay.
no. You're like,
no, they're
you
never. They
actually
never
aren't."
are though.
No, but truly, Cadence is honestly such like a kind, warm, bubbly person, and she just has this light. She just has this
Shut the
energy. No, really, seriously. Everybody that knows you says that, even when you were younger.
Like who?
People that you would babysit for, people would come up and tell me, I just love Cadence. She just has such a bright energy. And it's true.
That's so nice. And then when I left the church, the light left my eyes.
It's true. No more light in your eyes. I think it's a unique story, one that doesn't get shared a lot in Mormon circles, about when a teenager's parents leave the church. And
You mean
they get-
ex-Mormon circles?
Yeah, just Mormon in general, just kind of like an umbrella
Yeah.
term.
Mm-hmm.
So I just kind of wanted to ask you some questions about that. Like, what's one of your first memories of church, maybe like a core memory? What can you remember about church?
I just remember a lot of testimony meetings.
Mm-hmm.
And I just always thought sacrament meeting was so boring. Never wanted to go
That's boring.
when I was little, especially. But I remember moving here and being like, wait, so everyone's Mormon?
Yeah.
Living in California first,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, I'm like one of the only Mormon girls.
Yeah, because we
Um,
left
yeah.
California when you had just been baptized.
Yeah, literally the day after we
Yep.
moved.
And then we
I
moved
was
to
Yeah.
Day
Utah.
after
Yeah.
you were baptized.
Yep.
Yes. I
Mhm.
remember Dad baptized me and then he dipped.
Yep.
to come here.
He had to come to.
I think like
He dipped-
20 minutes after.
He dipped you, and then he dipped.
Oh.
Yeah.
Period. Like,
Period.
yeah, good shit.
Good joke.
Yeah, I remember being 8 years old, like being here, and there were only boys in my church class.
Oh, that's right.
Oh.
Only boys.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like tripping out a little bit.
Mhm.
And I remember all of our neighbors were in our ward. So I was just thinking, wow, everyone here is Mormon. Everyone here goes to church.
It's definitely a culture shock.
It made me feel like more like I was supposed to be in it, kind of, actually. But
You're like, oh, these
there
are
were no more
people.
brown people. Like in second grade, I was literally the only white girl. Everyone was brown, and I'm not even kidding.
Yeah, well,
And
in
then I moved
California-
here, and everyone's. I'm
Southern
like,
California, yeah.
yeah,
They're all white.
everyone's
white.
white.
It's very white.
I thought that as a kid. Okay, I'm not saying that now, but like that's what I was thinking
Yeah.
as a kid.
Mhm.
And I moved here.
Yeah, because in California, it's very
The only white girl.
there are lots of Latinos, and so
Yeah.
and which is great. And then you come here, and it's complete opposite. So, what did you love about church? What did you sacrament meeting was boring. You hated sacrament meeting. Anything you really loved about it?
Honestly, as a kid, treats.
Yeah, treats. Who doesn't love the treats?
But here's the thing: there's a wide array of treats in Mormonism. You know, there's the snacks in sacrament meeting. There's the refreshments. There's the actual sacrament bread.
Yeah,
You know,
the bread.
so what kind of
That can be a
treats?
treat.
Mormon treats.
Yeah, and I just
That-
remember like
Add it to the line.
Mormon treats.
Mormon treats.
Mhm. Mormon
Sounds-
Mormon manna. Manna.
but there was a lot more than that I hated about it
Yeah.
than I liked about it. Like the interviews,
Oh, yeah.
hated those.
Yeah.
Are you kidding?
Do you remember when
Are
I
you-
came up to you and
Yes.
told you, I said, you don't ever have to have another interview ever.
Do you remember what I did?
And you were, what was your reaction?
So
She was so
you
happy.
don't have to pay tithing ever again.
She was so happy. I
Thank
mean,
the
obviously
Lord.
it was a shock in many ways, and we can talk more about
Oh
that.
yeah, we can get into
But
that.
those things she was very excited about. But yeah, so
you came
I
with
guess,
me to one of them, right?
yeah, I
remember if
did.
that was
The
after-
your very first meeting with the bishop,
Bishop.
I was there with you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because I guess that should have been like a telling sign that because that was a couple years before we left the church.
Yeah.
And I said, oh, no, she's not going to be in there alone. I'm going to go with you. And I did.
I think I was alone at some of them though. I remember. After
I
that.
know, because I think after that, I was like, okay, I guess she can handle it. And I should have,
Yeah.
I guess I should have just kept going
But
with
they
you.
were so not normal at all.
No,
Just that's not
they're not normal.
normal. And I remember like every time I tell someone about those and what they ask you about and they're not Mormon, they are just like, what the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah. That's
I
super weird.
forget it's not a normal thing at all.
Mm-mm.
That's
Yeah.
the craziest part is like realizing all these things that you thought were so normal just are not.
And for people who might not know what interviews
Oh,
we're
yeah.
talking about,
Yeah.
I don't know how many non-Mormon ever
Right.
listeners that we have, but basically in the church at a very young age, you are brought in by like the head of the congregation, which is a bishop, and you're asked questions basically about your faith.
Like the guys that aren't the bishop that are like under him, what are they
Counselors.
called? Counselors.
Counselors. Yeah.
Counselors would do them too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they would. Yeah. So
They're all men, always men.
Just an old man every time, doesn't matter.
yeah, just asking you questions about your worthiness at like 8.
Yeah,
You
they'd
know?
ask you about if you masturbate or not, if you pay your tithing,
Do you obey
if
the law of
you-
chastity? Yeah.
Yeah. And they don't ask it straight up, but it's just all the commandments, right? And
Mm-hmm.
like if you say yes to one of them, you are not worthy to go to the temple.
Yeah, well, it's like, do you
Technically,
if you
that's all
say,
it is.
do you obey the law of chastity? And if you kind of waver, or you're like, well, then they have to ask you more questions. They have to dive a little deeper and get a little more personal and
When you're like 12 years
Yeah.
old,
a
alone,
little
behind a closed door,
teenage girl
getting
It's
asked this by an old
very,
man.
very fucked up.
Gross.
So, what do you remember about Dad or me coming to you and saying, hey, what we're leaving the church or we're not going to church, what do you remember about that? Like, what sticks out in your mind?
The first thing I remember is wanting to get a second piercing, actually. And I went up to you and I was expecting it to be kind of like, oh, you know what I mean? Because there was a rule. You can't have more than one piercing at the time, right?
Oh, that was before we left.
This was way before.
That was before.
But it was also, you were still in it, but you weren't, I think, right?
We were probably kind of going down that path of questioning,
and
maybe.
you were just like, yeah, if you pay for it. And that was it. And I was so confused, and I got my second piercing. Everything was so chill.
Yeah, I went with you. It was to
Yeah.
Claire's.
Yeah, it was to Claire's. I remember.
That's right.
And then I think after that, pretty soon after that,
Yeah.
actually, I saw coffee in the fridge. And then I was like, what is that? What is that? Because I'd never seen that in the fridge before. And you were ready. You're sitting at the kitchen table. Like, I have something to tell you. And you all literally just dropped it all on me that night.
I'm imagining you, like, you're opening. So, like, you're in the room alone. You open the fridge and you see the coffee.
And then I turn over and she's...
And then you shut the fridge and she's at the counter.
Da-da.
I'm just waiting.
We need to talk.
I've been expecting you.
How did she start that conversation?
She just said, okay, so your dad and I have been thinking and doing more research. I don't really remember how it all started, but you just basically dropped the bomb that you're not going to be going to church anymore. You were totally fine with me still going and that I can make my own decision, and made that very clear, but that you were not going to be going anymore, that you were going to start drinking coffee, and I was like, why? And then you just told me, I think it started off as Joseph Smith being a polygamist or something, and then you started to talk about the CES letter and stuff like that, and you just kind of dropped a bunch of shit. And it took a while. It was like a 2-hour conversation, and I was just, mind blown, obviously. And then I think I kept going, and you would just drop me off and I would go alone.
Yeah.
And then I would be getting asked, like, where are your parents? Where are your siblings? And I didn't know what to say.
And then you became a project.
And then I became a project, and my sister did too. And I remember all my friends at the time were all Mormon. We were very, very close and lived very close to each other as well. So we were hanging out like all the time. And I remember they were all Mormon, very, very, very Mormon. And I didn't know what to do because they would ask about it because they knew you left.
Yeah.
You were pretty open about it, right?
Yeah, because I actually made a public statement on my personal Instagram.
Yeah, you did, right?
I made a whole video, and
You made a video?
I don't.
I thought it was
a video?
I made like a series of stories.
Oh yeah, I remember.
I don't
I did.
remember. This is when people spoke on stories.
Yeah.
People don't talk on stories anymore.
No, they
Yeah.
really don't.
No, that's true.
Not just like go and record on your story.
No,
it's always
and
a reel or
Yep.
something.
And I went.
You're
and,
right. I forgot.
Yep. I
Didn't even think.
recorded on stories. I laid it all out there.
It's amazing.
I said, I just went into. I said, people think that leaving the church is easy somehow. Like people are doing it because they just want an easier life. And I said that's not true. It's because I wanted to be in control of the narrative. I wanted to be in charge of the story. And
You're
I
never
didn't-
going to be though.
I know.
You're never going to be.
And I wanted to get ahead of the story as if I was some important news cycle or something.
As if you're like famous.
as if I'm so famous.
Well, now she is, but
No. So people in the ward knew. And it was also because I wanted to be real. I didn't want it. I felt like I was living a double life, and I just wanted to put it out there. Like, hey, this is what we're doing. This is why we're doing it. And don't make your own judgments, even though people did and whatever. So, yeah, people knew. We did say, yeah, you can go to church. You can decide what you want to do for yourselves. But that is one thing, and I've told you a lot, that I regret, that I should have kept continuing to go with you.
Yeah.
Even though it was uncomfortable for me.
Yeah, it was just so, like, what are you even supposed to do in that situation? Like, but you would drop me off in your PJs drinking coffee.
Carly's like rolling up in the car
In the van.
and is like stumbling into the sacrament meeting, and coffee's like dripping down her mouth. And she's like, yeah, bitches. I'm not staying, but I'm leaving her, and you're all gonna stare
No,
at
but
her.
she wouldn't get out of the car. Don't worry.
I know. I'm just
Imagine.
like,
But you know what that kind of reminds me of? Is that, you know, when you first get your license and you got your keys? And then you roll up into class, or for me, it was early morning seminary.
But it was actually a big ass coffee.
and you're like jangling your keys.
Jingle.
You're like, yeah, bitches, I got my license. Here are my keys. It was kind of like that. I just got my
Oh,
coffee.
yeah.
And I'm like,
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
bye.
I remember doing that
Bye.
too. I would pull up to school with like a extra
Lanyard?
large from Beans and Brews.
Oh, okay. Oh, coffee. Okay.
Coffee, yeah.
Because apparently coffee is like, I don't know. It doesn't seem like that big of a deal to, other people. But
it's not.
I remember after that, you started like every morning the house would smell like coffee. And
Yeah.
I'd be like, what's going on?
It's quite a
Which is
different-
so funny to think about.
an
Because
adjustment, because
it's
now it's
just
so
coffee.
normal. Now
I'm-
it's so normal.
I remember having a conversation with a family member after you had left, and they were just kind of like, so what is it like with Carly? And I hadn't left yet. She's like, what is it like with, Carly and the whole situation? And I was like, oh, I mean, not much has changed. I mean,
Yeah.
they have coffee in their house. They have like a coffee maker, and they were like, why do they need to do that? Like,
exactly. It's
and
like
in
such a
my
big
mind,
deal.
Even though I hadn't left yet, I was just like, I mean, it's whatever.
It's fucking coffee, bitch.
No.
Try some. Maybe you'll shit all your little judgment out.
No, literally. I made a TikTok about that one time.
I know.
And
And
I was
love
like,
it.
this is why Mormons have a stick up their ass, because they're
Because they
constipated,
need
because they're
some
not drinking coffee on the regular.
Or
so
vaping
true.
or drinking alcohol.
Yeah.
All makes you shit.
Like, you're going to live longer, but like, who wants to live longer? Sorry. This life is miserable.
God.
It's so interesting because I remember it would smell like coffee in the morning. I'd be crying. Like,
Oh, I'm so sorry.
it's okay.
But how crazy that was such
I
a
know,
big
it's
It's
so
a big
sad.
deal.
change.
Because it's a symbol. It's a symbol
But
of the change.
I think
yeah.
I did get lucky though because it was quarantine at the time, so
Yeah,
no one
because-
was going to church anymore. So it made it a little bit easier
Yeah.
because like everyone just stopped going at the same time, and then I got to stay home and just do my
Yeah.
own research for a
That's
while
right.
and make my own opinions. And without all of these people,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because
affecting it.
we left late 2019.
yeah,
And then
yeah.
2020.
And I remember when I was still going though, I would come back and tell you what I learned about, and you would tell me your side of it, your opinions.
I was like,
about
well,
it.
actually.
So I was
She
like,
whips
you know
out a
what?
whiteboard. Like,
All right, listen up.
So here's why that's all bullshit.
I think I was trying to be very diplomatic about it and very thoughtful, but there was one lesson you came home with about the apple,
Ooh,
my
okay,
fucking
tell this story. I don't
the
know this
chewed
story.
apple.
Oh,
Do you remember
my
this?
God, I remember this so well. Yeah,
Okay,
I
go.
just was like, they were talking, the whole chastity lesson where they're telling you can't have. I remember one of my teachers used this analogy that if you have sex with multiple people, it's like an apple being beat over and over. No one wants a rotten apple.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
God,
So it's
that's
No one
basically
wants a
just
rotten apple.
another-
It's just like
It's just another licked cupcake, chewed
yeah,
piece of gum
yeah,
analogy.
just something like that. And
but they got violent with it. They're like, a beaten apple. My God, I've
they were
never
like,
heard that.
yeah. Whenever you remember when
Didn't
you,
she pass around an apple? Like, take
Shut
bites?
the.
I thought she did. It was something like,
No.
okay, maybe not.
but
It's like
yeah,
Snow White,
it was
like, my
you know
God.
how when you throw an apple and it just keeps getting darker and more mushy and more bruised.
Bruise.
God.
That's the
bruised
word.
Apple.
So visual.
That's you. If you have sex with multiple people, no one's gonna want that. No
Mormons- Mormons and their visuals.
Mormons and their
Oh my God.
analogies and
They
their
are
metaphors.
They are whores for metaphors.
Whores for
Whores for metaphors.
Whores for metaphors.
They really
Damn.
are. My
Damn, that's good.
God.
And
you can
so
always
vague about it too.
and you can
Yeah.
always tell when they're about to say a metaphor. They're like,
Like,
imagine a red,
red,
juicy, delicious, and it's shining in the sun.
and it's always the same one. They never
it's beautiful.
I've heard the same one
It's
so
ripe.
many times.
It's ripe. It's beautiful.
It's ready to be fucked. And then you just get it. That's you. That's you as a woman.
It's ready to be fucked. But do you want to fuck a bruised apple? No, you don't.
I don't know. Men fuck raw chicken.
And no, there's a whole movie about American Pie, about a dude fucking an American pie, a pie. Okay.
Call me by your
I
name. He
never
fucks
saw
a
that.
peach.
Yeah, I never saw that movie, but he does it in the movie. So they're like, it's basically sex is like fucking a pie, and so that's the whole
Interesting.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot there. But you came home.
Yeah, I told her about that, and she was like, "No."
Oh, I was so mad about that. I was like, well, here's why that's BS. Let me explain to you.
That one's rough. The whole sex thing with being Mormon. I remember you made it such a priority when I was younger to have a sex talk.
Yeah.
Right? And we had the sex talk, and then it was just, you were very like good about it though. It wasn't bad. It was very chill.
I'd
But
be curious to hear more about that because I don't think I've heard about
you made
her
it a
sex
thing.
talk with you.
I don't remember. Did I?
You
I
don't?
did. I think I remember sitting on the couch with you or something. That's
'Kay.
right.
You were telling me when I turned,
How-
I think like 10 years old or 11 or something, right? It was kind of like a Santa Claus talk situation. Like, I need to talk to you about sex one day, just so you know.
Just
You
so you
warned
know.
me. You gave me like a preview. We were literally at Nini's
Not
house.
a preview.
Not a preview, but a warning. Sorry, I don't mean a preview as in like
No, I know.
sex.
Okay, so I did warn you.
No.
Oh yeah, we were sitting on the couch.
No, you're at Grandma's.
Oh, that's
Nina's.
right.
And you were like, I need to talk to you about sex sometime soon. And I was like, oh, shit.
Oh, shit.
Like casually?
Nah. And then one day I just couldn't sleep because I had restless legs. And you were like helping me massage my legs. You're like, okay, when are we going to have this sex talk? And I was like, no.
I do know.
Mom, how do you not remember this? I remember it. And you told me
This is
about
a
it all.
weird scenario.
We were sitting on the couch and you were like, so basically, penis and vagina, the whole thing, like exactly how you would imagine a sex talk would go. That's how it went.
I can't picture Carly doing that.
And then you said something like, and here's the weird part. This is so funny. I can't believe
Oh no, I'm scared. I'm literally so scared right now.
I can't believe you don't remember this. And here's the weird part. It feels really good.
What? You're fucking lying to me. Carly, you should be locked up. What the
I
fuck?
said, Mom.
I'm also wondering if some of your memories are a little that's wild.
No, that's what happened.
I have
wild.
no recollection of this. I think it went down a little bit differently, but
Mom,
maybe I was like,
no.
I just said,
You showed me pictures.
I was trying not to make it. No, it was in a book.
Sperm and eggs.
Yeah, I looked them
Okay,
up. I
okay.
Googled them. It was like scientific.
It was scientific.
It was scientific.
But you're like, it feels really good.
and
That's why people have them without being married.
Yeah.
That's why people
'cause I
have
was
it.
trying to make it like
Yeah.
inclusive, right?
Yeah.
I was trying to make it like you can't. I was trying not to make it too binary. I was trying not to make it too,
No, you
and-
said penis and vagina.
no, I just meant like
Yeah.
try not to make it to just saying you can only do it when or
You're
this
married. Yeah,
and,
yeah.
or it hurts, whatever. I was
Yeah,
trying to
no,
make it like,
yeah.
yeah, it feels good, and
You
that's
were good
why
about
people,
that.
yeah. So
You
I
were
was
good
trying to.
about that for sure. You just
Yeah.
said it feels good. That's why people that aren't married do it. That's why a lot of people do it, and it's a human thing. Is what you said.
I know you were
I
my
think
first,
that's
and that's what's hard about being the oldest.
Yeah.
You're the guinea pig, and that's where we just experiment on what to do, what not to do.
Yeah.
And well, that probably didn't go the best. Let's try again with the second
Yeah.
child. Okay, so that's that.
Mm-hmm.
And but how was the process with your friends
Oh.
when your parents left the church? What was that like in your friend group who was still very Mormon at the time?
It was hard. It was really hard. But also, I don't know how they would have been there for me because they were so in it, and it was so hard to navigate for both sides because I don't want to sit here and be like, yeah, I left because of this and this and this, and make them question everything. And so they would ask all the time, Cadence, why did your parents leave? Like, tell me more. They would always ask more and more. And I would never know what to say because I'm not going to sit here and be like, well, basically, your religion's all bullshit. That's why. What else am I supposed to say? I just said, we just don't believe it anymore.
Yeah.
Well, and you were probably still trying to form your
Yeah.
own
Exactly.
thoughts
I
about
had no
it.
idea what was going on.
How long did it take you from when we left to when you decided, oh, I don't really believe this either? And not that we were
Yeah.
pressuring you. We were just giving you correct information.
Yeah, so it started off with you guys telling me more scientific facts and real hard facts. And that's what you guys have always taught me ever since, to just trust facts. So then I would do my own research. And even when I was little in the church, I would question it. Like one time I remember asking my teacher, the same one that taught us that apple thing, she was talking about how the the world was created by God and all this stuff. And I said, what about science? I just said, what about science? She's like, God created science.
Yeah. But remember in your world history class?
In his white lab coat.
Yes.
Yes.
Remember in your world history class in 6th grade? Or we were learning about religions?
Yeah, it was in 6th grade. I remember that too.
And you
There
had
was
a
just
thought.
so many different moments. And I'm sure everyone that's Mormon has them.
Yeah.
You just have these like, cognitive dissonance. That's like, it
Things
just,
that you
it's
put
a
on your
brief,
shelf.
It's a brief thing that you just think about and then you put it on your shelf. The biggest one for sure was, 6th grade, we had that class of different religions, and every single one said they believe that their church is true. They have their own book. They all think that they are correct. And I just thought, then how am I how are we the only one that's true then out of all of them if we all think that? And then I was like, no, that was Satan getting to me. I just have to have faith.
And what's interesting is you didn't come to me and ask me about that. You just kept it away because we were still going.
Yeah.
You didn't really feel safe to come to us and say, well, how do we know that ours is true? You just said, okay, well, ours must be true. I'm not even going to think about it.
You're not allowed to question that. You're not allowed to. It's like they make you feel like you're letting go of the iron rod and you're going on down the wrong path. And Jesus is watching you.
The fear mongering.
Yes.
Yep.
It demonizes critical thought.
Yep.
That it's literally from Satan.
Satan is making you think critically.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
and that's really damaging. That's really
so
harmful.
bad. Oh.
Because then you spend your life not being able to rely on yourself to make your own decisions. So I feel like that's a big thing when, at least for Carly and I, and specifically Carly with parenting, it's like she really...
Do I really believe this?
I feel like she really ramped up the critical thinking, especially for children, especially to actually make decisions for yourself. And yeah.
You did it really well, though. I won't lie. I think I got really lucky. I will say I would have much rather have my parents left than me first.
Really?
Because
that would be hard.
Watching people, even my age, their parents are still so Mormon and they are not. I can't imagine.
Yeah.
Because they feel so disconnected. You feel so, I wouldn't feel as close with you if you were still Mormon. And I know I would have left either way. I know I would have. So I honestly think you did me a little bit of a favor. And I'm really grateful for it. Because that's honestly rare for parents to leave first. I won't lie.
It does feel that way. Although I know you
least in
and Maya have had a couple friends whose parents also did leave. And
yeah.
At least together.
Yeah.
I mean, you both of your parents leaving
together.
Same time, same decision.
Yeah.
That I think is more rare, or was very rare at the time.
Yeah. So about how long after we left did you make your own decision that it wasn't right for you?
There was never a big moment that it just happened. But I do think there are moments where it all clicks in your brain for a second that you were in a cult. I just remember looking up the definition of cult and I was like, oh, period. I was in a cult.
Okay. Yeah.
Aww,
That's a moment.
Described
That's a moment a
my
lot of people
church.
have. Yeah.
Yeah. That was
it's
it.
so
I think
funny.
I was like, oh, shit.
So true.
And then I went to that church camp, which really solidified a lot of my thoughts.
That's right. I did sign up.
The Ex-Mormon church camp, right?
Ex-Mormon youth camp.
I got really lucky with that one too. That's rare.
Because that was
to
the
have
only
as
year
well.
they did it.
Yep.
There's the one and only year.
Yep.
Because there was a whole bunch of drama
Wow.
about that. But you had a great time though.
Yeah, it was so
You
beautiful.
did have a good time. I just went and dropped you off at Bear Lake. I was like, good luck.
I was so nervous. I was shitting
You were
myself.
15?
Yeah, I think I was 15.
15.
Yeah. And I remember that was a hard time because I really didn't have my friends anymore. They had distanced themselves. I had distanced myself because I started to really find myself and figure out what my own beliefs were, which took a long time. I had no idea what to think anymore. about the world, if I believed in God, if the things that I thought in my head were what I really think or what I've been told to think my whole life, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So that's something you have to really undo. So when I went to that church camp, it was a bunch of kids my age going through the exact same thing. So it was so beautiful, and it was so, and I became such an ally. Everyone there was either transgender, non-binary, and it really taught me
At
how
the
to
camp?
use pants.
Yeah, most
that's
people.
so cool.
And no one there was straight either. It was all
It's very inclusive.
very,
It
but they
opened
were,
your eyes.
it just made me really realize that I'm not a Mormon girl.
Yeah, you're like,
I am not a Mormon girl. I
Yeah,
kissed
yeah,
girls
not
at that
Mormon.
church camp, and it was so
Did you
fun.
Really?
Kissed
This
girls?
is brand new information.
Hold the phone.
This is brand new
Breaking
information.
news.
Okay, yeah, shut the fuck up. I thought I was bisexual at this church camp because every single girl there was, and I was like, maybe
Like,
I am, and they all wanted me.
I'm sure.
We were playing Spin the Bottle one night.
so
Oh my god, I love that though, because that's actually a normal teenage.
It is.
so normal.
Just
And it
in
was so fun.
just in general, it's a normal teenager experience to be like,
I agree.
kissing your friends, or just
Yeah.
like boy, girl, not boy or
Experimenting.
girl, you know.
It's experimenting. There's
But for
nothing wrong
you, it
with
was like, whoa.
yeah, it's
a
just
little bit.
that is so funny.
But it was so much fun. It was so beautiful, and I like had so much fun. And we learned about Cara Burrell was there,
Yep, Kara.
and she literally made me have the biggest identity crisis by one of her talks. She talked about how the church does not base you being a good person off of your character. It's about how all these rules that you have to follow. Empathy is not in the commandments at all.
About obedience.
Empathy versus obedience. And that really made me think, yeah, the church never teaches you to be a good person just because. They don't
Following
teach you,
rules.
They don't teach you to be a nice, kind person without getting things in return, you know?
Mm-hmm. That's
Like,
yeah.
blessings.
It's all conditional. Everything's conditional.
Everything is
And
conditional.
it's about loyalty.
Forgiveness, and you have to repent for doing something wrong. You have to follow these rules in order to be a good person. But I was thinking, these are the best people I've ever met,
Mm-hmm.
and they're not Mormon, you know?
Yeah.
Yep.
And I'm not Mormon, and I feel like I'm an amazing person. I feel like I'm really nice.
Yeah.
And the meanest people I've ever met were Mormon. But I'm not saying
Yeah.
that Mormon are
It's not
terrible
everybody,
people.
yeah.
But it's just because you don't drink coffee,
Yeah.
you know what I
That
mean?
you're a good person.
You're a good person.
Because you pay tithing
So,
to this
yeah.
one institution. That means you're a good person.
It's not. It's more like you're gonna go to heaven versus like you're gonna. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was like that was the goal, and I didn't want that to be the goal anymore. I didn't want to live my life based off of a book anymore, or a bunch of men telling me what to do. And so Kara really just said, "We are all stardust" and stuff like that, just basically making me my mind just fuck.
Yeah. She talked about determinism or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she said something like, we're all just stardust in this, on this, like, we're just here. And we'll never know if heaven or hell is real, and that's okay. And I thought, yeah, maybe it is just okay to be like, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what happens after we die. I don't know if God is real or not. And that's okay. You don't have to know all the answers to the universe. Yeah, sure, it's really nice to think you do. Think you do.
It is nice.
But it's okay to not. And then everyone talked about their experience there, and it was just amazing. They taught us about toxic relationships, cognitive dissonance. And I remember when I got home from that trip, I realized I didn't want to be best friends with this person that I was friends with at that time, right? Because everything that was on the list that they gave us was her, right?
Yeah.
And then I cut her off, and I had no friends for like 2 years.
That was such a hard time for you.
Yeah, it was rough. And it was COVID and starting high school fresh. And then,
Yeah, you started high school when COVID hit.
Yep.
So that was your first experience with high school.
yeah.
That's so
wow,
hard.
you've grown up in a rough time.
It really has. It was so rough.
You're an adult now when the
Yeah.
world is completely fucked. Our government is
Our
fucked.
President.
And you started high school when COVID
Yeah,
started.
literally. Feel bad for my grade, honestly, my little generation. of
Yeah,
people.
your cohort.
You're
But
so
yeah.
resilient.
So resilient. Because it's like you don't have a fucking choice.
Exactly.
Don't have a choice.
Don't have a choice.
I have to be.
That's actually like a Pinterest quote. It's like, You're so resilient. Yeah, because I had no fucking choice.
Yes, exactly.
You're so strong. Well, what if I don't want to be?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I don't want to be strong. I just want to be a baby.
But yeah, I do remember that
Same.
time. It was really hard for you. We
Yeah.
had several conversations, moments, and
Many times
I
broke down in your arms.
I know, and then I didn't always respond the best way,
No,
and then
it's-
sometimes I would be like, "Oh wait, I need to go apologize." And
Mm.
so, how did our parenting change as we navigated this, as we evolved as
Wow.
non ex members, whatever? How did things change for better or for worse? What is something that stood out to you as we no longer attended church? Things that were different.
Okay. Yeah, a lot. A shit ton, actually. But you were never very strict. You had very good morals. Being Mormon, even when you were Mormon, you would teach us, even though people smoke and have tattoos, they're still good people.
I did say that.
Even though they're gay, they're still a good person.
Which is so, I mean, that's
Honestly,
like
period.
that's a given, right? It's just, it should be given. But the
But
fact that I
you
felt like I had
would-
to say it is just very Mormon.
Exactly. But
Mhm.
you would think that's what Mormons think, but they don't
Mm-hmm.
a lot of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, gay people,
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think you were pretty strict with me the most. I think I grew up in such a different way than my siblings did.
Mm-hmm.
I remember one time I was out too late on the school night, and you yelled at me in front of all my
I
friends.
know, I'm so sorry. I know. You
would
guys, I
never
was.
do that now.
I would
You
never
would
do
never
that.
do that.
I would never do that.
But I don't remember why.
Honestly,
know.
it was just, I was probably a lot of insecurity on my part. Just a lot of, oh, I don't really know what I'm doing as a parent. I don't want to fuck her up. I don't want to mess her up. I don't want to be judged for being a bad parent. You know, it was just a lot of insecurity. And so I didn't trust myself. So therefore I didn't trust you.
Yeah, exactly. And
That
it's
was the
like-
problem.
And you never did that again. It was only
Mhm.
a one-time thing. And I remember I would get grounded, get my phone taken away at some times, and now you would never do that. And I remember it honestly switched pretty quickly when we left. You kind of switched very fast. Yeah, so you can actually do anything you want now. No, I'm just kidding. No, it wasn't like that. It was just much more open communication. Instead of saying, don't do this, you told me why I shouldn't, gave me all the reasons what could happen if I did something. And I remember in one of your episodes, you said something like weaponizing them with knowledge.
Arming them with knowledge.
Knowledge. And that really was what you did. You would just say, yeah, you can do this, but this is what's going to happen if you drink, if you smoke, if you have sex. These are the facts.
Mm-hmm.
And if it happens, you can come to me. But you never would say, don't do this.
Yeah.
You never would say, you can't do this, or else this is like, do it. It's your decision.
Mhm.
You were never forcing me to do anything or making me think I had to do anything. You would just say, do your research, and you would educate me a lot on everything. You're honestly one of the smartest people ever. And I'm very grateful for that because you taught me so much.
Mm-hmm.
And so that helped me be able to come to you because you just wanted to teach me.
Mhm.
And I thought of you as a human being more than just a parent, like my mom.
Mm-hmm.
But that helped a lot for sure. And I think leaving the church is the biggest favor you could do for your kids, you know?
Lead me, guide me took on a whole new meaning.
Lead me,
Okay, that was
guide
true.
walk beside me, help me find the way. Okay,
Follow the prophet.
I mean, like, go off. Yeah.
go off. That's what I really wanted. I'm just really glad to hear you say that. Because
You
that's
tried
really what
so hard to do
that's
that.
really what I wanted you to feel. I wanted you to feel capable of making your own choice, but I needed you to know what the possibilities were, what the consequences could be,
Yeah.
and to feel confident making a choice, even if you're faced with not so great choices,
Yeah.
to make the safest one.
Yeah, and obviously I made terrible choices growing up, but that one story you told about the hickey.
Oh my God, that's so funny. And I was like, I think she'll be okay telling this story.
Okay, tell
No, yeah, it's so
your
fun. I want to tell my side.
Your
What's
side.
Cadence's side of the story about the
I
hickeys?
see. So it was a fat hickey. It was a gross one too. It's like, ew.
You
First
started-
of all, just got flashbacks to the man that gave it to me.
I know,
Anyways,
I'm sorry. You started seeing this guy.
yeah, and I remember you didn't really make it that big of a deal, but I could tell you were like, what do I do?
Yeah.
You saw it and you're like, nice hickey. And then the next day you're like, you're getting an IUD.
Or it's like, I'm taking you to get birth control.
Yeah, you're getting an IUD. No, you said IUD.
Did I say I don't even remember.
And I remember being so scared to get an IUD, and I didn't want to get one because they're so scary. And yeah, I got the
arm,
in my arm,
the arm implant instead. Because then I started to do more research, or we asked the doctor.
Wait.
What happened? How did that happen?
No. You didn't put me on birth control because of my hickey. It was because you found out I slept over at his house.
Now we get the real story.
That's the real story. You were like, where the fuck are you?
That's right.
Oh my God, okay, go into heavy detail.
Go.
Back up about that story.
Back it up.
So, we weren't having sex, by the way. Just, I don't know. But it wasn't like we were, hickeys or like lead to that, whatever the fuck. But I did sleep at his house one night. And you were like, where the fuck were you? And you were like, were you at?
Because at first you were like,
you picked me up. Oh, yeah, I lied.
Yeah, she lied first.
I lied.
But then I always find out.
Yeah, and then I think you picked me up from his house. From his apartment. And then I was freaking the fuck out. Right. I got in the car and you were just like, I'm not going to tell Dad about this. But if you start sleeping over at boys' houses, you're going on birth control. And next thing I know, I'm on birth control.
I mean, smart.
Valid, though, honestly. But it's funny because a lot of, I'm not saying Mormon, but just parents think that if you're sleeping over, that means you're just
it's automatic. Yeah.
You can have sex in the daytime, parents. Just remember that.
That's not what I thought you were going to
That's what parents do not want to hear that.
They're like, sleepovers do not equal.
You're like, you can actually fuck we can fuck in the car, in the daytime, in parking lots,
at school.
And that is a good point though. Because
that is true.
If there's a will, there's a way. And it doesn't,
if you say no, it's not like, there's not going to do it.
Yeah. If they really want to, they're going to figure it out either where to do it either way.
Exactly.
And same goes with drinking, drugs. Like, so much rather have knowledge about it and then be able to eventually just be able to talk to your mom about it.
Yes. Yeah, I definitely was freaked out about that. I obviously didn't know this guy super well. But also I was trying to play it in a way where I didn't want to seem too disapproving, where you felt like you couldn't come talk to me.
Yeah.
And also I didn't want to seem too permissive or be like, yeah, do whatever the fuck you want. I don't care, because I obviously did care. But I knew I couldn't control you. You were at the age where I can try to control you, but that's going to harm our relationship. Yeah. So it was a learning process for obviously both of us. Made a lot of mistakes and missteps and was probably too harsh when I shouldn't have been, but
understandable though. I mean, it was your first rodeo.
It's hard though, because now looking at my younger sister, it's just so different. It's harder to see because I just felt like the slut of the family. I felt like the rebellious child and you couldn't trust me or whatever. I feel like making it such a taboo subject, it doesn't do anything. You need to talk about it. You need to say it's going to happen, because it's going to happen. Sex is going to happen. Drugs and alcohol, they're going to be there around all the time. And if a child wants to do it, they're going to do it. Might as well make an open, safe space for your kid to talk to you about it. Because I remember you and Dad telling me, yeah, if you are ever drunk, ever need a ride home, I'll be there. If your friends are too drunk to drive you home, you can call me and pick you up. My safety was always your number one priority, you know? And saying don't do this and don't do it ever, or else you are in trouble, is so dangerous. It's so dangerous. I've seen it happen where my friends couldn't go home because they were drunk and they didn't know where to go and they didn't know how to get home or anything like that, because their parents would care more that they were drunk than if they were safe. And that's just not
And sometimes they would crash at our place.
And they would stay at our house.
Yeah. And you would help them.
And remember when I got one of my friends these pills because she had a UTI.
That's right.
It was crazy.
A UTI because of sex?
Yeah, I think.
I think it was
doesn't matter. It doesn't
sex
matter.
adjacent. Yeah, sex adjacent or something. She needed meds.
Pills,
yeah. And then we went and got some for her.
Which UTIs are so common.
They're so common, but she didn't want to tell her parents.
She didn't want to tell her parents that she had one.
That's so
because
sad.
she thought they would be mad that she had sex.
Yeah.
I don't think I would tell my parents that I had a UTI.
No, me neither, yeah.
I've never had one,
though. Oh, you're so
I know. I've only had one. They're horrible. And then I stocked your bathroom with
condoms?
No, listen. What did I stock your bathroom with?
Pregnancy tests.
What else?
And Plan B.
Plan B. And I think
No,
did I not
no
put condom? No,
condoms.
pregnancy test and Plan B. I did put those in your bathroom.
Plan B is fucking expensive.
Yeah, you got like 4.
Yeah, I think I ordered them cheap
Wow.
on Amazon though.
And it was less
good to
expensive
know.
at that time. But I
Costco, $6.
Okay, hell yeah. I
Yeah.
don't have a Costco membership, but good to know.
Yeah, cheap on Amazon too.
But I remember I gave one to my friend one time because
I'm glad.
I couldn't get it anywhere. And it was nice. It was very, very nice to have that. Those for
Yeah.
sure.
Because, I wasn't
Just in
like,
case.
tell me when you use them, or I just was
No.
like, here they are, and if you need them.
Take one every 2 weeks if you're sexually active.
Yeah, I did say that, even though you're on birth control, because I was like, oh, hell no,
Yeah,
you're not
no.
getting pregnant.
That was also during Roe v. Wade, like 2022. Like
Yeah, that's
Oh,
right. And I was so
whoa.
freaked out. I was really freaked
too.
out.
I was too. Oh my God.
Yeah. I was
That's
really
freaked out.
rough.
That's valid.
times.
Yeah. So many things I never would have done as a Mormon parent.
Nope.
So many things.
No.
But you took in stride, and a lot of changes.
As you got older and as Carly got used to you doing normal teenage things, like her allowing you to being totally chill with your boyfriend sleeping over or
Yeah.
you sleeping over at your boyfriend's
Yeah.
house.
Because we did allow your boyfriend to sleep over.
Because that is
Yeah.
like unheard
That's
of.
that's a huge
and
deal.
You, and you
Yeah.
kept that as a
Forgot about that.
parent just in certain circles. You kept that under wraps because
yeah, I didn't really tell a lot of
because
people.
yeah, that's not
Even in
Yeah.
most circles.
yeah, exactly.
The-
Exactly.
it's like, wait, what? You let your daughter sleep at her boyfriend's house? You let your
Yeah,
daughter's
that's
boyfriend
true.
sleep at...
Forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I
Because it was so normal for you at that point.
It was, and it was just because she trusted me. You have to build that trust to be able to do that.
If
We're
you're
just
sexually
sleeping.
active, then
You're
then
gonna
what's
do it
the big deal?
anyways.
And knowing that you are safe somewhere, that I know
Yeah.
where you are, either
Yeah.
you're at my place, you're at his place, like I know where you are always.
Yeah.
And also the thing is, after I left the church and after we kind of had that shift in parenting, I never tracked your location
She would
after
just
that.
ask me where I was, and I would tell her.
Because then you didn't feel like you had to
No,
lie.
I didn't need to lie because, yeah, they'd get mad at me if I was there too late or at someone else's house too late, whatever. But I'd just be like, honest, I'm here, I'm at a party, I'm at this, I'm at here. Like, why would they be mad at me for doing teenage stuff, you know? Because
And
you were
that-
very understanding of that, which is crazy because I feel like you never had that experience at all.
No, I didn't.
And so, which was nice.
And
'cause
also,
I had a very opposite teenage experience.
just having privacy. A lot of parents don't like giving their teenagers privacy. They check their teenagers' phones all the time. They read their text messages, and I probably did a lot of that in the beginning.
You did.
I did, which is probably really annoying. But then after that, after we left, I started to learn, teenagers need privacy, and social media is one way that they are getting it because there are so few places to have it now.
Yeah. See,
And
social media is like a big group chat for us.
yeah, and so I stopped checking your phone. I didn't track your location. And same with my other daughter. I never track her location. I don't ever check her text unless I'm
that's
really
true.
feeling like you might be in danger or something is wrong. But that I hope you would come and tell me.
Yeah.
But unless I felt like something was really,
Sometimes-
really wrong,
There were some times where I didn't even think you had my location. I don't even know if you have it anymore.
I don't think I do.
I don't think you do.
No. But yeah, that was something I recognized that, they need their privacy, and this is like their journal, right? Their texts to their friends, their notes, whatever. I
You
don't really
used
have
to-
the right to go in and
You
invade
used
that
to
privacy.
Go through it.
I know
though.
I did.
And I'd be like, why? And you'd be like, because if I was I would be a bad mom if I did.
I know. And I
that's my
get that
View
set.
of it.
I
get
do.
that too,
I
but
get it, but
We're still human beings.
yeah, it just shows a lack of trust.
Yeah.
And
Makes us
yeah.
feel like we're supposed to be doing something wrong.
Exactly. Exactly. Because if I
Yeah.
kept, that was one thing I started to learn. I said, if I keep treating them as if they are doing something wrong, then
They're
what's the
gonna do
incentive to
something
do anything right?
Exactly. And it's like I felt like I had to hide stuff even though I wasn't doing anything.
Yeah, I know.
But that lasted like maybe a year.
Yeah.
I don't think that lasted very long.
Yeah, because I don't remember
Yeah.
stories of you going through their texts and stuff.
Yeah, that was a
It didn't
brief
last very
thing.
long. Also
Thank
because
God.
it's fucking exhausting.
Bring me your phone.
Bring me your phone. Bring me your phone every night. Then I have to hide it away, and then you would sneak in and come and get it. It's fucking exhausting having to be like this. What's it called? Like a warden,
helicopter,
like a warden over the phones. Like, I'm sorry, no, thank you. So I gave up on that after a while, and also just was like, they need some privacy, and it's fine. And if there's something wrong, they're gonna come talk to me about it. And yeah, a couple things have happened, and you guys do come talk to me about it. And
wouldn't you prefer that than finding out through their phone?
yeah, I want you to come tell me.
And sometimes I bet you're like, wow, I can't believe you're telling me this.
I know. Sometimes with Maya, I'm like,
I don't tell you that much. Maya tells you everything. That's what I'm saying. It's so different with her because at her age, I was not telling you that. So
you tell me.
Also because Maya doesn't do what I was doing.
You guys are very different.
Yeah, and I love that.
You guys are very different, and then it's neither good nor bad. It's just you guys are different.
I was dying. This is a tangent, but the other day you posted some really cute pictures of yourself, and Maya comments and is like, "I know you're mad. I know you hate me right now, but damn, like you look so good."
Like it's such a sister thing. I know
you're in a big
my
fight.
guts right now.
Wow, I know you're mad at me right now, but you look really good.
Unfortunately, you look amazing.
Fuck. Good. There's no denying that.
So, along the lines with parenting, I mean, we talked about, some of the things, we did right. Is there anything that sticks out to you of things that you wish we would have done better or differently looking back?
Yeah, maybe just when I was going alone, that was rough. You could have come, but
I know.
That's honestly best case scenario is what happened, I think. I mean, I remember when I was starting school, I was still kind of Mormon, still kind of not. I don't know. I had no idea what to think. And we were signing me up for classes. And I remember the counselor being like, well, is she going to do seminary? And we were like, no. Absolutely.
I love Cadence's reenactment of Carly because it's a very different perspective, hearing the stories from Carly and hearing them from you. And there's actually an iconic video. I think she has multiple videos.
I know exactly which one you're talking about.
When Cadence was probably 6.
Iconic.
No,
Five,
she was
six,
already 8. She was
okay.
8 or 9.
Where she dressed up as Carly, stuffed her shirt even to make it look like she had boobs. And she mimicked.
I need to find that video. I think
that's
I put it on my private YouTube channel somewhere because it was probably like 10 minutes long.
Well, you know what's funny though?
20.
My daughter does that.
Isn't that so funny?
She does that.
And
she
you
will absolutely do that.
See yourself through their eyes and you're like,
oh,
son of a bitch.
My God.
You can't
Son
have
of a
any
bitch.
cereal in your clean room, honey.
Cereal, honey. you're like hoisting your boobs the whole time. Your fake boobs, as if I had huge boobs or something.
Yeah, what?
I remember when I
Carly
got
had big
older, I
boobs?
realized like
Literally
wait,
never.
Her boobs are not. Remember when I said you have small boobs? Remember when I told you?
You
that?
also said I had a really big butt one time. That was when I was.
That's true. But
You literally do, and that's a good thing. But I remember we were at Target, and you're like, "You're insulting me, calling my butt big."
You were walking behind me.
Yeah.
You were walking behind me. You're like,
Mom, you have a big butt. Mom, you have a big butt.
my daughters, they're upset. They like smack my butt like we're in the men's locker
smack
room.
the ass like a drum.
Yeah, no, literally.
I saw that song live, Mom. I went to Pride.
You lucky bitch.
You could have come.
I.
She Cupcake was there.
Oh, I'm so jealous. Yeah, but kids sack my ass like a drum. But kids they say the darndest things. But you have several videos where you're reenacting me. They are the funniest thing. I put them on my personal Instagram,
to
and
find
people
it.
were dying. I know. I'll find it. We can post it.
So
And I made one of
funny.
you.
Oh, that's right, Cindy.
Oh.
What is a,
Love.
what is a Cindy?
Oh, we've got to get that out too. People will be like, "No, that's not Cindy."
I know
you
they won't
were
believe it.
completely.
My hair was
Will
white
not believe it.
and
That's you.
long, and my eyebrows were black, looked like I put Sharpie marker on them. And
Yeah.
she made a whole little. Cadence was such a little iMovie slut.
Yeah.
Like she
Oh,
fucking
I was a
loved.
for
You were so good at it, though.
I loved putting
So
cameras in
good.
people's faces and pissing them off, and then
editing them. It
You were
was
so good at it.
amazing.
Do you remember
were
that
so
one
good
video
at
of the
it.
window? The window.
Oh, the window.
It was like a scary trailer.
was a scary
of
trailer.
the fires in California.
That's right.
Oh
I
my
ate that
God!
I ate that shit up.
That's right.
Yeah. I remember I had my vest on. I was like, Nikki. My name was Nikki.
Mickey.
Will she have the same view? And it was like the fires.
So good.
Anyways,
So, okay.
with that whole thing, I think I would just say it would have been nice to have you come with me. But I made my decision pretty quickly that I didn't want to go anymore.
Yeah, maybe subconsciously I was thinking, well, if I don't go with her, she'll figure this out sooner than later.
And I tried coffee for the first time, and I was like, fuck all this shit.
Fuck all this shit. Celestial Kingdom is not worth this.
When we had matcha and chai at Starbucks that one time, it
so
changed
good.
my life forever. I still
That's your
drink that to
yeah.
this
So, what is your
day.
favorite coffee order? What is your go-to?
I like a good white chocolate, white mocha iced latte, and I like a good matcha with chai. Try that.
It is good. It's really
Matcha
good.
with 2 pumps of chai. Oh my god, so good.
With cold foam,
With some cold
vanilla
foam.
cold foam.
It's really
so
good.
So good.
Just matcha in general, but yeah.
What would you say your belief system is now, if you have one? Are you spiritual? What do you kind of believe about the universe, about God? Like, what do you believe?
That is something that was last when I was figuring out what I believe. Like everything else came first. It was like, okay, what do I believe about gay people? What do I believe? You know what I mean? But that came last, and I'm still deciding that. Honestly, that's something that I don't really think I believe in God. I don't believe in God. I don't believe in religion. I just believe that there is a higher power, and nobody knows what the fuck is going on down here. And we all think we do. Some people think they do. And I think it's good to have a relationship with something spiritual. Like, I like that. I think that I could be more spiritual if I wanted to, but I just don't. Like, I like to believe that there's, like, energy is, like, what I'd say. Yeah,
Same.
energy. And everyone has a soul, I think. I don't know. I think that we all, I don't know.
Yeah, and I don't know is
I don't
is
fucking
a
know,
perfect
bro.
is a great answer too. Yeah, and that's okay.
Sometimes I think that we're gonna be reincarnated. Sometimes I think that we're all gonna die and never come back. I don't know.
And
I
that's
don't fucking know.
that's the cool thing is that now you get to decide whether you want to think about that or not think about it, and it's not a big deal if you don't ever figure that out.
And it's like, when I left, that seemed like the biggest deal out of everything. I remember being like breaking down all the time, like, what the fuck am I going to tell my kids one day that I believe when they ask about God? It's like, what the fuck do I believe in God? What is this? I'm like, no, but I don't think that there's a big man in the sky that decides what your life is.
Sky
Daddy. I don't.
Sky Daddy.
I think God is a woman, but at the same time, only a man could create the hell the earth is. So I don't know either.
Facts.
I don't know.
Straight facts. Yeah.
I think that clearly only a man could create what is going on right now. We need to switch. Women, put the woman in power now, please.
Yeah, it's our turn, bitches.
But yeah, I just want to say that I'm glad that we all ended up on the path of misandry. I think that we all just went on our own path to be misandrists, and I love that.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't, I don't even know when I started to hate men so much.
When did that
But that was on my own. That's my religion right there.
There you go.
Fuck all men.
so funny?
Not all men, though.
Not all men,
But every woman.
We get it.
but every woman.
I hate it when they say that. It's like, well, not even today. I was talking to one of the massage therapists about how, like, a man made one of our women massage therapists really uncomfortable. And I was like, yeah, well, he was just being a man. And he goes, well, I've had some aggressive women too.
Oh God.
Jesus Christ!
Just have to make sure
Like
we are not allowed to complain, and that it's not all men, and women do it too. We fucking get it. We fucking get it. Okay. But like, you guys remind us every single day that you hate us, so we get it.
Yeah.
We get it.
Oh,
Anyway.
so funny. So we talked about spirituality.
Yeah, spirituality is something
and-
that I feel like I could be more. I don't know. I just like nature, music, and just love.
Yeah, you love music. Who
love,
are your
love,
favorite
love.
artists?
Oh my God, so many. It's right now Ethel Cain.
Mm-hmm.
I love
Love
Lana
her.
Del Rey. I love 070 Shake is really good, underrated, and I love every
Very, very
single
good.
one
Love
of her
her,
songs.
yeah.
I like me some As Maya would say, opium shit.
Opium shit. What the fuck is opium? That's why I'm always like, what the fuck is opium?
You'll never know.
Opium
it's
is drugs.
No, it's a term that they use.
Okay, you know what? Because I saw someone, I think, post about you or something, and it would be like, my opium queen.
Yes.
And I was like, the fuck is Cadence doing?
That is the most
Like,
that is the most Gen Z thing. I think,
brazen as fuck.
ever. That is the most Gen Z thing.
queen, she's shooting up heroin.
And then I went and Googled, wanted to fact check myself
It's
that
just-
opium is drugs. And I was like, okay, like,
Well, it is
slay.
drugs.
Like, go for it.
It is drugs, but
And you didn't like text
Nope.
me and be like,
Nope.
Carly is your daughter?
No, because I don't want you to be like, what the fuck is Cadence doing? You know, I don't ever want to do that.
I forget.
It's not my vibe.
If you are ever concerned that Cadence is doing opium, please do tell me.
But explain that.
But please explain opium.
Because I actually don't understand that.
Explain it.
You guys were trying to explain it to me one time. It's like
rap culture, kind
it's a vibe. It's probably black culture. It's
People be doing cool shit again. I don't know.
yeah.
They just have this whole like fan base of rappers. I think I don't know how to really explain it. You know, Playboy Cardi.
Yeah.
Wait,
He's opium.
Opium is like a movement.
Kind of
It's a
kind of
concept?
and it's like
It's basically a nonchalant war. You got to be nonchalant and mysterious. It's a war.
concepts of an opium.
I don't know.
Okay. It's just like a vibe.
It is like an energy.
Okay.
It's like an aura.
It's a
Got
dark
Yeah.
aura.
But in a cool way, cool, casual. But you can't call yourself opium.
No.
Other people have to
Yeah.
kind of describe you as opium.
Yeah, but it's just so corny. I think
Really? Okay.
it can get so corny.
It's
Oh
so
my
funny.
god! Like getting the crosses tattooed on you, upside down crosses.
Oh yeah, that's
That's like some prison shit. What the
It's
fuck?
literally like on the edge of being like a satanic.
Well, yeah,
satanic
that
person.
yeah.
But it's like fun. I think the music is so fun to like. I like love. I went to King Carson like twice, Destroy Lonely twice. It's just fun.
yeah. Cadence and Cindy really vibe on music.
Concerts are my
They're
thing.
really
Concert. I'm
yeah.
supposed to
Cadence
be
loves concerts.
at one tonight.
Oh, do we need to go?
We're so sorry. Thank you so much for gracing us with your
No, I did not.
You're going later,
plan.
probably. Bobby doesn't start until later.
Probably. I don't know. I don't know if I'll even go.
What's your advice to parents if they are leaving the church and they have older kids or
Yeah.
whatever? What's your advice to them
I think
to maybe support their own kids through a faith transition or to navigate leaving the church as a younger child or a younger teenager?
yeah.
What's some advice you would give to them?
I saw on the outline that you sent me that one of them was like, they're afraid to mess up their kids, in quotes. And I said, the church is going to mess up your kids more than you will. I promise you that. It really fucks with your brain and your beliefs. And especially, I think the main thing is just, be like non-judgmental and make it a safe space for them to talk to you and make it just be proud of them no matter what. Tell them that you're proud of them. Tell them that they're smart and teach them things and help them learn things and ask them their opinions, I think is very, very good, because a lot of churches tell you what to think and you're not allowed to have your own opinions. So being able to form my own was so nice, and having someone listen to it, having my parents be interested in what I thought about it, because you go from either believing whatever the religion is telling you and then to whatever your parents are telling you to believe, So it was nice to have my own thoughts and just let them process everything, let them be their own person. And I think that's a big thing, is the church doesn't let you be your own person. You're stuck in this kind of box and you're supposed to be the same and very like, you know what I mean? They don't let you be your own person.
Let them be messy.
Let them be messy.
Let
Seriously.
them be messy. Not in a Mel Robbins way, all right? Just
Seriously.
Oh, God.
Everyone is messy and no one is perfect and everyone needs to be
yeah, let them
No,
be
but
messy.
really, let your teenagers...
everyone be like every single teenager is going to do some
Because
fuck
that is the time to be messy.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
That is the time because you are.
now we're in our 30s and 40s and we're messy as fuck.
I know, and we don't have the safety of living under a parent's roof and being like, oh, I have a safe place to go to. I have someone. I mean, obviously we do have a safe place to go to, but I'm meaning in a way that someone is always going to be there to
Well, and our...
guide us.
messes are less forgivable
Mm-hmm.
They're you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like it's
Because we're grown ass women and we shouldn't be messy
an
like that.
adult,
We
apparently,
shouldn't be making
yeah.
mistakes, you know.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. So that is the time
That's it.
to let your kids mess up and let your kids make mistakes,
mhm.
and they can grow and learn from that, and you can guide them during that process while they're still living under your roof,
Yeah.
and so that when they do move out, they feel confident to make their own decisions.
Mhm.
And
Period.
that's
Period.
important. What are your, it's almost like I'm afraid to ask this question because I don't, what are your favorite apostate activities?
What is that? What does that mean?
Oh
So
my
apostate,
God, I love that you don't know what that
she doesn't
means.
and that's so great.
Oh,
So apostate means someone who's left the church. So they're an apostate. They've apostatized from the church.
they've fallen off the deep
yeah,
end.
they're going to
Oh.
hell.
They're blowing up their life.
They're doing terrible things.
No way.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's a very derogatory term,
Oh,
and that's what we are. That's what we technically are.
Yes.
Yeah,
That-
apostate bitch. Yeah, that's what we are.
Real.
So what's your favorite apostate activity?
On like Mormon terms, like
No.
Just
anything,
anything.
like,
Things you couldn't do
honestly-
in the church that you love to do.
no. Tattoos, piercings, concerts, slutty outfits, music, the music I listen to, the movies I watch, just everything.
Mm-hmm.
Being an apostate is the most freeing thing ever.
How many
I
tattoos
love
do you
it.
have now?
7.
7. Oh damn. I don't even know
Catch
if
up, Mom.
I know.
Did you know that? Cadence told me about her
The
first
tattoo.
tattoo before she
I
told you.
know you did. Fuck you.
Well, here's the thing. I already had like multiple.
Yeah, and I don't have any.
And not that she was like, she's like, I'm gonna tell her. I think it was more
so
like you were
nervous.
excited to like tell me
Yeah,
because I
was.
had
No, and I'm glad.
tattoos. Yeah.
No, I'm glad you guys have that connection. No, I
I
am.
literally was so nervous to tell you that at the same time.
What did you think? How do you think I was gonna react?
I think you were just gonna be like, you're gonna regret that tattoo.
No.
My dad, I know damn well, he was like, bitch, those are not cute. Don't. Why did you get those?
Yeah, Dad is very much more
But yeah,
very hyper focused on getting like the
Passionate.
passionate about getting the right tattoos at
Passionate
the
ab-
right time. If you're gonna spend all this money and it's gonna be this forever thing, you better
Yeah.
get the right fucking tattoo.
Which is a very good point.
Yeah, that's a good
it is.
point.
It's valid as fuck. He was like, you shouldn't get tattoos until you're at least 25.
He does
blah,
say
blah.
that.
Yeah, which is valid though. I think it's
Yeah, because
very,
a lot
very
of people
valid.
grew up and they're like, I regret this tattoo.
And
Yeah.
I'm probably
But
going
also-
to, but I don't give a fuck.
Let them be messy.
Let them be
you know,
messy.
I don't give a fuck.
But you're not getting any like men's names on your body. You haven't done that yet.
Sorry, that scared me.
You haven't done that yet or ever. But you have a cute little moon here. I mean, you've got really
A
cute little
hummingbird.
tattoos.
We have hummingbirds.
Mm-hmm. And you pay for them all yourself.
yeah, pay for them all myself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and you have multiple
my
piercings, and they're very cute.
Mhm. Thank
and yeah, and I took you to get your belly button pierced.
you. Yep.
I think you were 17.
Aw.
I was turning 18.
You were almost turning 18. Yeah.
No, turning 17. I think.
Yeah. You're 17.
Yeah.
Lots of fun
2023.
moments, and that's also one thing that I think has been so fun and freeing about leaving the church and then raising teenagers is that you get to have so many of those fun moments
Exactly.
that are just
Oh,
they're just fun, and
know.
I get to be there. You're not going out and getting it secretly.
Exactly.
I'm going with you, and it's this fun thing that we can
Mhm.
share together,
Yeah.
and yeah, it's just fun.
And I think too, you know, you just got divorced, so I feel like you're going through a like almost a coming of age sort of experience in life right now in some ways.
Your
and
first
so-
breakup.
And so
First messy breakup.
not
for
her
real.
first breakup, but like but it's, you know, it's cool to have a little bit of a parallel
Yeah.
experience with life.
Yeah.
Because I mean, we talked about, I think, first episode how like Carly turned 40 the same month and year that you turned 18.
Yeah.
So it was very cataclysmic
Yeah.
in good ways and hard ways, and
I know.
but I think it's really beautiful that
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, because I just saw you and I looked at you and yeah, it just felt not that I ever said anything to you or that it was that I don't know how to explain it, but
No, I know.
I
when
think-
you said that, I was like, oh my fucking, that's like, it made me cry.
yeah, but did it make you feel bad or weird? It was
No.
yeah. It's so hard to explain. It was you were a portal, you were this mirror, like Cindy said, and
Because you imagine what
yeah,
would I have been
yeah.
like?
Yeah,
She is this way.
You just look
at
so
this
free.
age.
You're just so free, and
And what would I have been like at that age too?
mm-hmm.
But it's never too late to be
to
free.
do, to live your own life.
That's all I can say about that. Is just it's so freeing to be able to do that
Mm-hmm.
and have you and dad and my siblings and everything just to be. It just makes me so much more confident in myself
Mm-hmm.
because I can be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, when you're Mormon, you can't be that confident.
And that's what I love about just looking at you guys, and I'm sure Cindy feels the same way about her kids, as they're growing and they're learning, and they get to talk about whatever they want. They get to ask you any kind of questions, and nothing is off the table. And just seeing how excited you are to learn things. And I look at my sons, you know, your younger brother, who's super smart, and he's always telling me all these things. He loves to watch, you know,
He is
things about
so smart.
astronomy. He loves astronomy. He loves science. He loves learning about evolution. And so he's constantly telling me new things that he's learned. And I love it so much.
I literally love that kid. He's
so smart.
I introduced him to like, and he was like, I was like, do you have any questions for him? I was like, yeah, give him an interview. What do you want to ask him? He's like, do you have a car? Do you have a job? I forgot one of the other.
And this is a man that you're seeing right now.
Yeah. And your little brother's asking him these questions. Your 13-year-old brother.
And then he goes, well, yes, answering them. And then my brother goes, the one that really got me was like, have you been in a relationship before?
Oh.
Did you guys break up
It's like
mutually?
your father.
Did you break up with her or did she break up with you?
Oh my
And
God.
It was like, it was so insane.
He's so smart.
That's so
It was really cray-cray.
Even
I
though
love
he's
it.
your little brother.
I know.
Yeah.
He was like, I was like, I didn't realize how smart you got.
He is really,
What the
he's
fuck?
very emotionally aware, very smart, very
Yeah, so
high
cute.
high
So
emotionally
cute.
intelligent. So
yeah.
as are all
He
of
asked
you.
all the questions that you were gonna ask him. So
Well,
you
good.
don't need to.
Well, good. I don't need to
so
anymore.
Cute.
That's so cute. Well, thanks, Cadence, for coming on the pod
This was so fun.
and letting
No, this was
everybody
fun.
get to know you. And we've mentioned you a few times, so
Here I am. Hope I didn't disappoint.
no, of course not, never. And she is as funny and amazing and silly and goofy and beautiful as we've talked about. So,
Oh.
but I just love you so much.
I love you too.
And I think the world of you. And yeah, this has been a great episode. So thanks for joining us on
Thanks,
this
guys.
episode of Messy Jeans. And please don't forget to rate, review,
Subscribe. Follow us
Follow.
on social media, messy_jeans on Instagram and TikTok.
Yeah. They're funny as fuck.
Substack,
I love them.
Spotify. Yeah, no, genuinely.
They are actually funny though.
Okay, good. When you first told me that you thought we were funny, I was like, yes.
You've got
She
the
sent
younger
me
generation.
a screenshot of you just being like, "Oh my God!" Or maybe she just
Yeah, I
said
told-
like,
yeah.
"Oh, Cadence listened to the whole thing."
She said, you guys are actually so funny.
I remember the one of you being like, "This just did."
This just did that. I have laughed at that so many times.
It's still making the rounds.
It really
so
is.
funny.
So good. So yeah,
Follow them.
that's one of my offspring. She's amazing.
One of her
Thanks, guys.
offspring
We
is-
love you so much. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.